The first time anyone at Fort Bragg noticed Petty Officer First Class Riley Kane, she was dragging a duffel the size of a body bag through the dust of the 82nd Airborne's cadet barracks, her hair twisted under a faded ball cap, eyes scanning corners like she expected incoming fire. No one knew she'd already survived 3 combat tours as a Navy SEAL, that she'd pulled brothers from burning Humvees in Helmand, that the scar tracing her collarbone came from a Taliban blade she'd turned back on its owner. To the cocky second lieutenants lounging on the stoops, she was just the new girl, quiet, slight, the kind of transfer the brass dumped on them when quotas. "Got tight fresh meat," one of them muttered, flicking a cigarette butt that sparked against her boot. Riley didn't flinch. She just smiled the way a wolf smiles at sheep right before the lights go out. If you're loving stories that hit like a flashbang to the soul, smash that subscribe button now, so you never miss the next one. The trouble started small, the way avalanches do. Cadet Captain Derek Harlan, 6'3", All-American linebacker build, ego, the size of Rhode Island, decided the new girl needed hazing. It was tradition. He told his pack nothing serious, just enough to remind her the Army wasn't the Navy's kiddie pool, so they waited until 0200. When Riley slipped out for a run in the Pine Dark training grounds, 4 of them in balaclavas, moving like they'd rehearsed it in their sleep, they cornered her near the obstacle course, zip ties ready, laughing about making her scrub latrines with a toothbrush. Until sunrise, Derek grabbed her arm hard enough to bruise. Welcome to the real military. Sailor Riley's pulse didn't even spike. She'd felt worse grips from men now, fertilizing poppy fields. She let them drag her 10 feet, let them think she was scared, let the zip tie cinch her wrists just tight enough to sell the act. Then she whispered, "You sure you want to do this?" Derek laughed. That was his first mistake. The second came when he turned his back. Riley dropped her center of gravity, snapped the zip tie against her own hip bone, plastic shards raining like confetti, and drove her elbow into the solar plexus of the cadet behind her. Air whooshed out of him like a punctured tire. Before Derek could spin, she'd already disarmed the next one, twisting his rifle away. With a move so fluid it looked choreographed, the 4th guy froze, eyes wide behind his mask. Riley pressed the borrowed muzzle under his chin. "Drop it," she said, voice calm as a sniper's breath. The weapon clattered somewhere. In the dark, an owl called like it approved, but Riley didn't end it there. She zip-tied the 4 of them to the pull-up bars, ankles and wrists, facing the dawn. She left their phones on the ground, screens cracked, recording. Then she jogged back to quarters, showered, and was sipping coffee in the chow hall. By 0600, when the MPs rolled up with the base commander, Derek's face was the color of spoiled milk when they cut him down. The video, 60 seconds of pure humiliation, was already pinging through group chats faster than gossip at a beauty salon. The commander, a grizzled colonel who'd lost a leg in Fallujah, watched the footage twice. Then he looked at Riley's service record, the one nobody had bothered to read: 3 bronze stars with 2 purple hearts, a trident pinned by admirals who didn't hand those out for participation trophies. He closed the file, rubbed his temples, and muttered, "Lord, give me strength." Words spread like wildfire in dry grass. Cadets who'd smirked at her in formation now gave her the wide berth usually reserved for live grenades. But the story doesn't end with a beatdown and a viral clip that would be too easy. See Derek. Harlan wasn't just a bully, he was connected. His father sat on the Senate Armed Services Committee. By noon, Riley's CO got a call from the Pentagon. "Make this go away," the voice on the line said, "or we'll make you go away." Riley overheard the conversation through the thin walls of the admin trailer. She didn't wait for orders. She requested a closed-door meeting with the colonel, laid her dress whites on the table. Like a poker player showing aces. "Sir," she said, "I'm not here to play victim, but I'm also not here to let predators wear the same uniform as the men I carried out of Ramadi." The colonel stared at her for a long moment, then did something no one expected. He called a mandatory formation. Every cadet, every instructor, every cook who could fit on the parade ground. The sun baked the asphalt as the colonel took the microphone. "Today," he said, "we remember what the uniform means." He didn't name names, he didn't need to. Derek and his crew stood front and center, eyes fixed on some invisible point 1,000 yards away. Then the colonel did the unthinkable. He turned the mic over to Riley. She stepped forward. In her service dress, the silver trident gleaming like Judgment Day. "I didn't come here to prove I'm tougher than you," she began, voice carrying to the back row without a tremor. "Came here to prove we're better than this." She told them about the corpsman who died in her arms outside Marja, whispering his daughter's name with his. Last breath, she told them about the Afghan girl who'd handed her a flower through concertina wire, eyes older than sin, and she told them about the 4 cadets currently on extra duty scrubbing the DFAC with toothbrushes, not for revenge, but because someone had to teach them the weight of the cloth on their backs. You could have heard a pin drop on that parade. Ground-grown men swallowed tears they'd never admit to. Derek's shoulders shook. Though whether from rage or shame, no. One could tell when Riley finished. The colonel ordered a moment of silence for fallen comrades. Then he dismissed the formation with a single command: B. Worthy Riley thought that was the end of it. She was wrong. 2 nights later, the base went on lockdown. Insurgent chatter had spiked. Intel pointed to a possible gate breach. The QRF scrambled. But they were sure to breach a. Guess who volunteered? Riley, geared up beside the same cadets who'd tried to break. Her Derek was there, face-painted, M4 trembling just enough to notice the convoy rolled out under a moonless sky, tires humming prayers on cracked pavement. They hit the checkpoint at 0347. 4 technicals, RPGs glinting like evil promises. The first burst shredded the lead Humvee's windshield. Riley was out before the echo died, moving like smoke. Stacking on the driver's side door, she slapped Derek's helmet. "You with me?" He nodded, eyes wide but steady together. They flanked left, Riley popping suppressed rounds center mass, Derek laying down fire that actually hit what he aimed at. 30 seconds later, the technicals were burning. The insurgents zip-tied or gone to whatever waited beyond back at base. The medics counted 0 friendly. Kias, the colonel, met them at the pad, handed Riley a cold bottle of water, and said, "Lieutenant Harlan has something to say." Derek stepped forward, still, smelling of cordite and fear. He faced Riley, came to attention and saluted. Crisp, perfect, the kind of salute that hurt to give. "Ma'am," he said, voice cracking like a teenager's, "I was wrong about everything. Permission to shake your hand." Riley returned the salute, then took his hand in both of hers. "Permission." "Granted, Lieutenant. Now let's go get some chow, heroes." "Gotta eat." The formation erupted. Hoots, whistles, grown men hugging like it was VE Day. Someone started chanting "Hooah," and it rolled across the tarmac until the windows rattled. Months later, at the commissioning ceremony, Riley stood. In the back, anonymous in civvies, watching Derek pin second lieutenant bars on his little sister, the same girl who'd once handed Riley that flower in Afghanistan. Now, a brand new ROTC grad. Derek caught Riley's eye across the crowd, mouthed, "Thank you," and for the first time, she saw the man he could become. As the new lieutenants tossed their covers skyward, Riley slipped away before the cameras could find her. She had a plane to catch. Another team, another desert, another set of brothers who didn't yet know. They'd need her, but she left something behind at Bragg, a plaque in the cadet lounge, simple bronze letters that read, "Be worthy every plebe who walks." Past it now knows the story. They know the quiet girl with the duffel bag wasn't prey, she was the storm they never saw coming. And that's the thing about legends. They don't always wear the loudest uniform. Sometimes they just show up, do the work, and disappear before the credits roll. Riley Kane is out there, somewhere tonight, probably running in the dark, counting heartbeats instead of sheep. And if you ever cross her path, remember, respect isn't given, it's taught. One zip tie, one sunrise, one redeemed soul at a time. From which part of the country are you watching this video? Drop your state in the comments. I read every single one.